I know there's like Sandy fans out there as well. Didn't save theme. We're not actually on New Game Plus because I named the I named the totally official Game Boy cartridge, very real Game Boy cartridge, for Zero Growths, right? Maybe we will spend our last hammer on the Maelstrom. Cause like, do we have, I guess the Brave Sword probably. Brave Sword probably needs it. We have 2. Do we have another Sagel? That's actually important. Yeah, we have plenty. Okay. We'll grab Eclipse. Sure. But yeah, basically, I'm not playing on New Game Plus. I think the only, like, major change that's affected it all is theme. Obviously, bad ending, but we weren't gonna go for that anyway. Repair Combustion. Is Combustion even low durability? That's 19. And that's 20. It really isn't. I haven't used it as much as I thought I would, to be quite honest. Bad ending would just be Sandy solo. I've actually not even done bad ending under a growths context. Yeah, we're out of cleave bows. That's unfortunate. Maybe genuine. Oh no, yours is 4. Never mind. Yeah, I mean like, give it. Like, might as well fucking give it or whatever. The fact that I missed the cleave bow purchase on that Jason map, I think the absence of cleave bows has been the biggest L for that. We got Nikolaus and his lucky coin. I think probably Brave Sword plus. Maybe the, honestly, maybe the cleave bow. There's a bad ending in New Game Plus. During the scene where Kyra negotiates for Elias's life, you have the option to take the deal. And what happens is Kyra, joins up with Soder, Sandy, the boss of that map, the one with the darting bow, and there's someone else who doesn't betray, but basically you have to kill all the player units. There's prologue ending. Yeah, if you never heal, if a Pate never heals, you get prologue ending as well. You gotta take the Gaiden during treason. Yeah, that's what I was referring to with bad ending. I think it is technically a Gaiden. I think of it as the same way as the CC bad endings, where like I don't think of them as Gaidens, but they probably technically are. Laertes stays with you. The GOAT! Chat has given me the full fucking 180 on this awful piece of shit. Yo, S-rank bows! The grind was worth it! Give me envy. What do we take? The killer? We can do a funny crit moment. He envies the fact that people have money. Okay, come here, Telemus. Laertes and Zacchaeus or Simeon are still there. Isn't envying money just greed? Yeah, I forgot to give greed. Also, I forgot to give greed to Fazang. So whoopsies. I forget, is silence targeted now or is it global? It's basically global. Okay. Does it affect my units as well? It's targeted, it's vanilla? Oh, for some reason my brain read halt's use, and I was like, oh yeah, that's global. No, stupid idiot, it's not global. It's just vanilla silence. Because it was global on the city map, which is where, like, my memory leaked. Thank you, chat, for keeping me honest. So we turn off the tsunami guy. Laertes can get Dark Dragoon greed. Oh, true, he could. We threw, chat. We threw by not giving him Dark Dragoon greed. Honestly, she can live getting hit by Poison Sword Assassin. You've already done your staffing, so you end up Jason. Fucking Battle Axe Berserker. Go up here. This is on my first playthrough. We had like a fucking massacre here on this map. Remind me, chat, are there reinforcements? I don't think there are, right? Like, this is it. This is all Sandy's got. My one gripe with legendary weapons, IMO, Greed, and Sloth should have swapped weapon types. Soder only gets dark magic on promo because he can promote to a class without dark access. So, I talked about this on the previous map, but I actually really like that Soder specifically has dark instead of anima, because it shows that he doesn't actually believe in the church stuff, that it's all just a fucking lie of convenience. So the fact that the weapon he gets isn't even Holy Knight related, I think the intention is it's supposed to show that it was all fucking fake. That, like, his claim of, like, caring about these ideals or whatever, he doesn't give a shit. He just wants to be more powerful than people. And so he's given this opportunity, dark magic, which, like, is not, like, as heretical as light magic, but very clearly for my interpretation, is viewed as, like, still inferior, right? In Glamorgan, that's why they war with Glamorgan, is because of, like, the dark magic stuff, right? So I think it's, separating him from his supposed belief system and showing that, like, no, in the end, none of it actually mattered is pretty cool. Why is this labeled chat was right? Chat told me Laertes would be good in 0%, and I doubted their wisdom. Laertes gaming, Laertes gaming, Laertes gaming. Glamorgan War was Glamorgan as part of the theocracy. See, I think maybe I'm reading too much into it, but I think the fact that both foreign countries have dark mages associated with them, but the theocracy doesn't, indicates that, you know, not to the degree that, like, you know, light magic is heresy or whatever, but it makes me think that, like, you know, it not being tied to the church is, like, relevant or whatever. You spent lots of money for another unit with decent but not amazing combat. Is that the Jason comparison? I think if we're comparing the money spent between Jason and... if we're comparing the money spent between Jason and Laertes, it's not even fucking close. Like, it almost feels insulting to Jason to put him in the same conversation as the Laertes costs. Jason costs you, what is it, 4,000 gold? 3,000 gold? Something like that? Even just the last two of Laertes are 15. Money doesn't matter in late game hag. I think it's relevant considering the amount of, like, good and cool stuff you can buy in shops. You know, cleave bows, sage elves. The ability to spam these, like, stupidly broken weapons is something you miss out on if you spend money, especially Laertes, like, the amount he's asking for. I will continue to beat the drum that, like, in growths, he's still the worst Cavalier. Because he's paying to sort of, until the last one, he pays to get on par with the others. Arbalist, Cleavebell, and Sagel shop is worth having money for. Wait, I forgot about buyable Arbalist. Yeah. I forgot Arbalist is buyable. What are your top 3 ROM hacks? Hag and TMGC are definitely 2 of them. My third would probably be Cerulean Crescent. But that might be recency bias. Like, the only reason I hesitate to say that is it's one that I recently played. And I tend to have recency bias when it comes to that, where I most recently remember the super positive experience, right? So probably CC. This map is scary. My three are Sealed Hope, TMGC, and Hack. What is Sealed Hope? This map is scary until you realize that it's the last map in the game and people get revived going into post-game. So there's no reason to, like, care about sacrifices. Aside from story, right? Like, getting to see the happy endings. Didn't you really love Lord of the Seas? I'm mixed on it. I really liked it from a gameplay perspective. The story was not good. I don't know if it rose to the level of, like, actively lowering my enjoyment of the game the way that Cerulean Crescents did. But it was, like, frustrating. Hag feels a bit too different from other GBA titles. Interesting. I feel like Hag is very similar to FE6, just with a couple of, couple of skills added, right? I guess it feels like a mixture of 6 and 8 because it has, like, the branched promos and stuff. 0% Lord, by the way. I played Lord of the Seas. The story felt like the only hack story that actively made the game worse for me. See, I felt that way about Cerulean Crescent, but I still came away with Cerulean Crescent arguably in my top 3. Which, like, is a sign of just how good the gameplay is. Because I'm not one of those people that just doesn't care. I know some people just don't care about story, and I think that's a valid approach. But I do care about story. Especially when it comes to RPGs and SRPGs and stuff. Once the boats get treads, the map design stops caring. Yes! 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 Thank you! Thank you! Thank you! I felt like I was losing my mind. I was like, wasn't the gimmick of this game the fucking boats? Why did we stop force deploying the boats and just turn them into armor knights? I was so disappointed. The last map of the campaign is an indoor map! Endgame 1 at least used the boats. Kind of. It had a big lake, but it honestly felt like the boats were just buying time more than anything. Hard mode bonuses for playables were and continue to be a mistake. Yeah. I can respect... I can respect the games that put them in for, like, historical reasons or whatnot. Especially ones that are trying to do, like, much closer to vanilla type stuff. But I think they just kind of break things. Yeah, they were a glitch in FE6, right? And I get it, it's a glitch people like. Oh, you're gonna come back online right now, aren't you? Doesn't 7 also have them? I believe they're in 7 and 8, but to a lesser extent. And I don't think they're actually a glitch at that point, but I might be wrong. 6 is basically confirmed a glitch. Because we know how we know from the code, we know that there's actually a thing that stops enemy units from getting, or for recruitable units from getting art mode bonuses, but it applies during preps only. Holy shit. 0% growth's lore, by the way. They're only in the Japanese version of 8. Ah, gotcha. There's a list of units that are specifically not to get hard mode bonuses, but it doesn't work properly. Well, so it does work, but it only works during preps, which is why people like Ray and whatnot get affected, but Percival doesn't. Because it specifically only checks during preps, is the thing. So I guess that does mean it doesn't work properly. I don't know why you have fucking Fire Tome. Oh, Sageel's B. Fuck. Fragrance? You should play TLP if you want something that feels close to FE7. I try to steer away from recommending TLP as a first hack. I think it's something that if you're into hacks, you should play at some point. But I don't think it's a very good first hack. Both because I think its quality is not particularly good, but also the ways in which I find its quality questionable are, So when you hear, like, fan game, right, or fan fiction, there's a sort of stereotypical image of, like, the kind of unprofessional, no real approach to, like, balance or design type stuff, self-inserts, all that things, you know, the My Immortal, right? And that is not reflective of either fan fiction or fan games as a whole, and really never has been, but a lot of the more sort of prominent, popular examples. Oh, right. Bowbreaker. And I think TLP very much feels like the like what people who haven't played fan games probably think post Fire Emblem ROM hacks are like. You know, the creator's girlfriend is in there and she's a super busted wyvern. map design has, like, enemies thrown all over the place for seemingly no reason. It's an impressive piece of history, especially with stuff like the voice acting put in there. Like, there's some real technical marvels. But, it is also... I think it's a good way for people to get turned off of ROM hacks. On school, I played FE web emulators, and for some reason, the Last Promise was one of them. It's a popular hack, both among people who like hacks and just like the, you know, the community as a whole. It's probably the most mainstream hack. In part because it was, like, one of the first ones in English. He's, like, an early 2000s edgy OC. Yeah. We're really slowballing this, but, that's just kind of how it's gonna be. Because this map is scary if you don't slowball it. Have you tried Dye's Emblem? I have not. It's another one that's on my radar. It recently got completed, if I recall. Telling someone to play Dye's Emblem is evil. Wait, Lorenzo! I fucked up. I didn't realize he was in the halberd range. I thought the Luna was... Oh. I fucked up. We play through it because, you know, it's the end of the game, right? We play through it. We'll see. Let's see if we can do it, right? Our favorite Frenchman. Dye's Emblem and then someone dies. It's cursed! Redemption equals death. Oh shit, I've gone and done a Star Wars. You can't get redeemed unless you fucking die. Should have talked about Liv's Emblem. Fuck, you're right! Tiresias is over on this side of the map. Now that we've unsealed the death, we can get a lot more reckless massacre time, right? Move you, shmove you. Shmove you. Okay. Telemus and Maganya are still alive. If Telemus dies, I think that's a reset. Because I'm not sure how we beat the map without Telemus. Telemus or Thione? Do we think Thione is needed to kill Sandy? Like zombie Sandy? I really wanted to get the Lorenzo Sandy combo too. I've never gotten it. Cause he always dies! Oh, I had Ophelia copy the wrong general. Fuck. The audio just shat the bed there for a few seconds. What happened? Sorry about that. It got crunchy? Maybe it was an issue with my streaming? For like 15 sec. Damn. I don't even have the cats in here, so it wasn't like a cat messing with a wire. I have no idea what would have happened there. You'll be okay without Lorenzo. You've got the only great knight you need to beat the game. So true. I just wanted to get the Sandy combo, because I want to see their Sandy. I guess I can probably, like, just look it up in Builder. Did Lorenzo die? Yeah, I didn't realize I put him in halberd range. I had him prepared to, like, fight a Luna guy, and then I just didn't realize he was in one range, and he got halberded. Shit happens. But thankfully, we still have Jason gaming. Builder has funny red herrings. Yeah, right? Soder has an ending card. There's like 5 different bosses for all the red herrings as well. Ooh, that's rough. Oh, the crit! Old woman Yuri. Why are there red herrings? Wouldn't someone in Builder not be concerned with spoilers? I think part of it is that, you know, Rubinho cared a lot about, you know, not spoiling things, even for people who might want them. I think the other part is that, you know, as a creator, I appreciate the effort because Builder is how you get, like, a lot of, assets and stuff, right? For thumbnails and whatnot. And so it can be like a minefield if you're trying to get, like, character portraits for a thumbnail and not accidentally spoil yourself on the fact that, like, oh, this character promotes into a Master Knight. Well, that would have been a fun surprise. Sometimes I get people to pull them from Builder for me just because I don't want to, you know, deal with that. Booster super crits. Here. this. Barrier, fruit juice. Heal up Jason. Despite living halfway through the game, my Soder had more kills than any of my units. Really? I mean, I do think that as sort of the Jagan role, Soder can still be good. Especially if you don't know about it and you give him, like, a Master Seal. The problem is, like, when approaching things, both knowing about Telemus and knowing about Soder really hurts Soder, because you got fewer seals to work with, and I do think without a Master Seal, he struggles. And, you know, with fewer seals to work with, you're less likely to waste one on him. But I think in a first playthrough, Soder is really helpful. Even at 0%, we fielded him for, you know, everything up until Roadside, right? He works really well as a Jagan. I like that design. And, like, if you do choose to give him a seal, we gave him a seal and, like, half the stat boosters in the game in my first playthrough. And he was, like, my GOAT, right? Femur funds her seal. Yes. Femur funds her seal. Soder does not. This is a reference to the fact that trainees are better than Jagans. Theme doesn't refund the goddess icon or secret book, though. Alright, time to go full aggro. No! That's awful. What did I give the Sword Slayer to? Oh, was it on Lorenzo? It was. I consider Soder to be on par with Glaucus. I may be underrating flyer utility. I think you are. I think Hag is a game that, like, weirdly a lot of people seem to underrate flyer utility on. I think because, and I sort of talked about this during the, Teresa convo, but I think for a lot of people, if a, you know, Cav or flyer utility is not something to the extent of, like, or warp, right? Is not to the extent of, like, completely trivializing a map. You know, think Shanna rescuing people over the lava in FE6. Holy shit, this is a bit ridiculous. Oh, wait. no, that's right. It's not. It's just from Breaker. Then people will, like, disregard it entirely. But almost every map in Hag, with, like, very few exceptions, has some amount of significant flyer utility in just large amounts of terrain to fly over. Even if it's not inaccessible, just getting that extra, like, not having your movement cut is so huge. Fuck, this Swordmaster with the Ruined Sword! I think we do this. Flyer utility is interesting in ROM hacks because I think developers realize how broken it is, so they tend to balance it by giving flying units weaknesses on a character level. I feel like both Hag and TMGC do that. I think so as well. And I think, however, in both of those games, the flyer in question, the first flyer you get in both those games is still very much in contention for best unit in the game. And I think that, again, it just sort of comes down to how flyers are so ridiculous in mainline games that in cases where that doesn't end up being, the case, where they're not, like, har level of broken, right? Let me make sure that it's actually in there. Who has an empty... No one has an empty slot, do they? Tiresias has an empty slot. Let me just make sure it's actually in there. Sword Slayer, yes. Ada. I don't think Ada's very good. I don't think Ada's, like... I don't think Ada's very good. Darting bow. So the best flyer utility in Hag is grabbing village and from an awkward angle and flying away to avoid getting dogpiled. Yeah, that comes up with the Boots village. That comes up with the Boots village. Comes up with the shrine in the big defend map, the third shrine. I also think, again, so many maps are just littered with forests. The wall trolls you by putting flyers on top of it. They can't fly down, but you can't fly through it. Yeah, but even then, getting the Boots Village from the left is so much easier with a flyer. Somebody brought this up when I mentioned that the last time as well, as it was like, well, the flyers don't actually help you here because you can't go through the wall, but it's like, you can't go through the wall, but you can still go through the village, right, Bowbreaker? Shit. There we go. Okay. We hit that. I think boots should only be allowed on foot units, and mounted units get a saddle instead. That kind of makes me think of FE3's version of the boots, where I believe infantry get more move than mounted units do, but I might be mixing that up with the wrong. Shit, fucker! Oh no! I can't barrier him because he's poisoned! Oh, this is all going to shit. Because you can't have more than one status at a time. I know poison overrides sleep and berserk, so I just assumed barrier would overwrite poison, but it doesn't. So he's dead. Like, he's just dead. The witch and the ranger can reach him as well. The witch is gonna kill him. The witch is gonna cook him. Don't worry, he will dodge. Yo, how fucking sick would that be? Yo, Tsunami! I forgot! He was so dead anyway. He was always dead. The thing is, Tiresias is probably dead now because of that. Because of the ordering or whatever. We might just literally game over. Because I think Kyra's in range is something as well. Sleep well, Fructusio. I might have to do the finale on a different stream, because I haven't save stated yet, and I think we're about to game over, and it's like dinner time. Holy shit, she lives! Yo, that's ridiculous! Alright, easy mode is over, because Fruit Juice died. Now I have to actually play the fucking game. Now there's only one healer. Yeah, but she's a very good healer. She's very good at her job. 0% growth support away. Okay, we gotta silence the... We gotta silence the tsunami. Both healers die in the same map. Wait, that's so funny. Healing is gone from the world at the... Like, once we beat this, healing will be completely gone from the world. Is this your redemption arc? Don't miss the 86? That fucking spiral started with Laertes missing the 86. So it's like his fault when you think about it. Level 20 Jason. First time in recorded history, Jason has hit level fucking 20. I did not expect him to be so useful. Yeah, me neither. Yeah, me neither. Honestly, it's, pretty baller. Sword Slayer the Witch. Think about how hard Sandy 2 with only an elixir is. I think we'll be fine. Coping. Remember, people can die. People die when they're dead. Did I get Laertes killed? With my overconfidence? Holy shit, exact death! Bury me with my gold! He doesn't even care about the gold. Rip Bozo. Dying is a hoax made by Big IDK. Big Coffin. Convince you to buy more death. Look, we have brave weapons, we have Telemus, it'll be fine. Thank God we have brave weapons, because 27 speed boss. Yeah! No, Sandy's gonna be tricky. Nosferatu as well. Is there someone in the bottom right? Shit, I didn't even see the assassin. Damn, you scared me. Nosferatu, do you mean recover? Yeah. Recover final boss. She moves right. Brave bow. Come on, come on, come on. Thank you. The RNG's not smiling upon us today. Yeah, I mean, all I can do is fucking make noises. All I can do is make noises. This is not going great. At least I'm not the only one who sounds like that when they're losing. I play it up a little for the camera, but it is frustrating. I think Demeter's dead. I think the other enemy reaches her, right? No. Okay, no, Demeter's fine. Not that it matters, but like, are you fucking serious? The crit, too? Disrespectful. %, Lord, by the way. Kyra's strongest 0% growth lord after Sigurd. Is it after Sigurd? Honestly, like, genuine question. Do y'all think Sigurd is worse? .48 attack. Losing barrier sucks, too. Like, barrier would be, I mean, obviously helpful for tanking, but also just, like, for Nosferatu, right? Like, for lowering the health gain. That's kind of what I was saving, like, half of barrier uses for. Oh, Telemus. No wonder we lost track of you. You went and joined the Rapscallions. Tired of watching your career crumble, huh? Maybe you're hoping they'll give you a little treat.
Then I want to do the right thing. To be people's sword and shield. That is why I enrolled in the Holy Army. And that is why I left when it betrayed itself.
I guess I'm the one you can blame for that betrayal. But Tartarus has always been rotten to the core. It's not my fault if you were too blind to see it.
But no longer. You are the last vestige of the rot in Tartarus. You will not be allowed to fester any longer.
Cute, very cute. Did you rehearse that speech in front of a mirror? I hope you also practiced your death throws. Alright. Entertain me, peon. Come on, you got this. Oh, fraud alert! And then we get you down to 23. Okay, yeah, that does it. That's 48. Yep, we live. White pool? I can't move, Thione, because Thione's getting the kill. Support bonus? 83%. Do we have a more accurate? Oh, 100%. Okay. Well. Look who survived against all odds. I survived, and I brought the rebels here. I'd assume they just took a lucky guess. Leave it to you to be a constant annoyance. I will do far more to annoy you, Sandradiga. Today is the day you pay for it all. I guess I get it. You're still sore over what happened. I did make your dearest concubine disappear. How you must have missed her on those lovely nights. Lying in bed next to a fiend who cared nothing for you. Did you miss her tender touch, mayhap? You have not a clue what it is she and I shared. But then how could you possibly know? You are a monster. You know nothing of human emotion. That's so not true. I laugh, I have fun. Very human emotions. The ones I don't have are just the useless ones. And look where it has led me. Soon I will challenge the heavens themselves. You will certainly try, but you're more likely to end up in hell than heaven. After I take your life here and now. Sowing some real fire now, O fair consort. Let me have it. Show me the fury of a woman scorned. Revenge! The Biden blast! You think it's over? We get Gluttony. We get Fortify. And then a Pate fucking dies, and we get an Elixir. Phase 2 is a concern. She doesn't move though, right? Oh no, she does. Okay. Oh, I think she doesn't. I think she doesn't, and it's just like a lie, right? Euphroxia would quad with White Pool? Oh, really? She moves, but she gets stunned for a turn after each phase. Okay. Honestly, that's way better hit than I would have expected. Let's start with that. You were foolish to try to escape the cycle. All life must come to an end. Her stats go down on each form instead of up. Yeah. If I remember correctly, that's how that works. She got 51. But recover heals her, right? Do you have Repair Hammer for Eclipse? I actually have 2. I did not expect the Eclipse accuracy to be, like, good. But, like... Did it break? Oh, it was its last durability. Well, you know, we'll figure it out together. Die, you parasite. Hammers are still stabs, they proc power staff. Yeah, I know. I haven't tested it, but chat has said it a bunch, so I just, you know, I believe it. Oh, Tomebreaker affects it because it's technically magic. It's just not displayed as such. That makes sense. Do you have any Maelstroms left? I do not. We broke it last map. After all you schemed, all you sacrificed, your humanity, your family, your soul. For what? This? Are you happy now? Sandy's sprite is so terrifying. Yeah. Oh my, I didn't know this isn't quite so badly for you. I guess it's what they call divine punishment. So she's stunned for just one turn, so she won't move this turn, right? She won't move this turn, but watch out because of your HP losses. Yeah, we just have Elixir. Losing Tiresias, like, that was rough. I guess, you know, let's see how this goes. Do we just let her? I think we just let her come to us, right? If only I'd repair hammered Eclipse, like that. That was a throw. I don't think we're getting this, chat. The vulneraries, right, the vulneraries. We could just vulnerary, yeah, I'm right. Poison sword use case. I'm pretty sure she's immune to poison, right? One, two, three, four. 1, 2. Okay. So Ophelia, grab the elixir. We're just gonna do a big ring around the rosy. This is what we've been hoarding vulneraries for. This is the most FE7-ass strategy of all time. Elaborate what you mean by that. I don't really think of... I mean, I do think people underrate Nosferatu in FE7, but I don't really think of Nosferatu as like an FE7 strategy. Using the vulneraries on the final map is so strange. FE7 bosses are famously hard to kill. I think it's less that the bosses in FE7 are particularly strong, and more because regular enemies are so weak, bosses seem much better in comparison. This is what people think Canastas, the fire dragon. Luna, 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 Luna. You have 3 move now, right? Still 4. Okay. So all y'all back the fuck up. Jason, you need to stay safe. For Loretes' money's sake. Look, we win with the power of old lady Yuri. The Yuri couple is breaking her ass. Euproxia MVP. Honestly, a great argument for her as a general. Like, if you're unconvinced, let this serve as a great argument. The Yuri couple punishing their daughter. All Thio needs to fight the final boss is a basic healing potion. Alright, and then we just end turn. So even as a sage or witch, she can't talk. Why does Sandy always go for her mom, AI? Thion has more res. And those are the only two targets she had because she couldn't move because she's staggered. This not a kill, right? It's not actually positional, like it's not a shove. She doesn't need to be standing next to the wall. She falls out now, right? Yeah. Honestly, that went way easier than I thought it would be. And now we get to see the wonderful character endings. The real MVP is Teresa for Right, this was Teresa's idea. Who is the MVP of the run? I mean, cheater answer Ophelia. Real answer Telemus. Real answer, I think, is Telemus. Laertes was MVP because he knew what color the Brave Lance was. Phobos returned to his hometown where he garnered much shock and admiration at how much he's grown since he departed. Though he was a bit of a scaredy cat, he was the first to arrive when there was a problem. Oh, they get married! Right! The unlikely duo quickly earned the devotion of the masses. With their joint values and wisdom, they created a new church founded on the tenets of freedom and acceptance. It'd go on to be the new Radiant Faith in Tartarus. As they had sworn Raleigh swore off soldierly. So much, in fact, that they ditched their armor in a river. They would come to regret it, however, when they quickly found a... Died it before the storm. 07! Died to the fucking Pluto-Plato massacre! Then tried a number of jobs until she entered into underground fight club. She beat every contestant silly and enough from the bets to set her for life. She spent the rest of the days working for charity, helping the poor. I'm glad Agari died. We got to see the awesome Pericles shit. Pericles dedicated his life to the restoration and improvement of his institutions before the people chose him to lead the nation. However, he never recovered from the loss of Agari. Never did a smile grace his face again. Jesus Christ. The injuries Tiresias sustained in the war took their toll, and he soon found himself bedridden. Despite many hardships this entailed... Despite the many hardships this entailed, Wulfric never left his side, for love shone brighter than the sun and the stars themselves. That is fucking adorable. Pluto returned home and spent some time there before setting out anew. Although he always struggled with his shyness, he improved with time and soon became known as brave and kind, selfless fighter for the downtrodden. Skymerius made sure not to leave behind a trace. It is hard to say what the secret of Lancer's actions after the rebellion were like. Many voiced their theories, but Skymerius was never found to confirm any of them. 07. Be happy, Fruit Juice! Orla continued to serve as a knight, first of Wexram, later Erant, for the rest of her life. Though she was not a name that went down in history, she became an aspiration for a certain youth. Oh, the kid! Though Alonso later mellowed out someone, he never found his fervor and continued to travel and venture until the day he could no longer. Teresa continued to keep her liege safe as well as she could until he passed. To her great surprise, she figured into his will as the only heir. Lived a comfortable life, but always missed the adventure they'd shared. 116 battles! Ophelia began to play more aggressive roles after her brush with warfare. Her popularity soared and she became to realization all along. After some time, Polonius was able to stop method acting. He sunk into a melancholic state for a few months before he discovered a new character that inflamed his genuine passion. He also became very rich. The two fled before anyone could stop them. Soon, rumors swirled the pair of witches that had nested in a derelict manner, forming a coven of women that wandered their way. Although they never committed crimes, many feared them. Nobody quite knew the machinations of Dahl's mind. For a few years, it seemed as though he would never be seen again until one day he resurfaced in one of Glamorgan's margraves as a new margrave consort. What the fuck, Dahl? The good Margrave returned to his domains and frantically began to scheme his revenge on the ones that humiliated him. However, before he could carry the flamethrower, he tragically fell down a flight of stairs and dies. The stairs are eternal! 07. We'll bury you with your gold. All alone in the world, Nikia fell into an abyss of despair and nearly put an end to her life. At its bottom, however, she found wisdom. She became a traveling nun, offering guidance to those who, like her, had succumbed to hate. Beatrix left for a time on a journey of self-discovery. When she returned to Wrexham, it was not to renew her contract, but rather to join as a proper knight. Never did she regret her choices. Barlow returned to his placid meadows, where he sat his tenure as Margrave through. In his retirement, he kept body fit along with long walks and his mind active by playing war games. Sadly, his friends didn't like that he almost always won. A few years later, Fia succeeded Barlow. The people swiftly grew fond of her thanks to the fiery dedication and well-being of familiarity. She was often seen teaching kids archery and participating in drinking contests. Telemus refused and offered to rejoin the Knights, resolving to wield brushes rather than weapons. In time, he became a painter of known renown. But his true claim to fame was his academy, which he schooled many of the era's greatest artists. Bazang lived a humble but quiet life in Zoo. He never seemed the kind to grand deeds that made the history books, but all those that knew him only had admiration and respect for a man with stoic wisdom. He is the GOAT! Meanwhile, this guy, Jingy, stayed in Zoo's army until he discovered they planned to war on Tartarus. He went to the king and threatened to rebel. Should he go down the path of war? And so odds the king was impressed to call off the war. Jingy resigned from the army so that she could instead take up the position of ambassador to Tartarus. This allowed her to both keep in touch with old friends and prevent any potential conflicts between those two countries. Jason rarely spoke his time as a rebel. To him, it had only been one more job, nothing more. Did wonders for reputation, though. He never did complain about that. Rip, loser. 4 battles, 3 wins, good unit. With nobody to persecute her anymore, Coronis returned to the former occupation. In time, she also began to dabble in the field of research, always searching for fascinating new riddles to challenge her mind. With his debts now settled, Glaucus used his new best friend to assist his father with the family business as a flying courier. He was occasionally seen at gambling tables, but he was careful not to overdo it. The Ying opened up an orphanage in the Nook of Tartarus. He looked after the children with such great care and affection. Even long after they reached adulthood, many of them kept visiting their silent but kind-hearted caretaker. To everybody's surprise, Demeter did not in fact vanish after the war. She was often seen in Amnios and Percote, at Mother's Fun. So many places, so often. Some theorized that she refuses to teleport at will. The 2 forlorn elders settled down in Percote, far away from the public eye. Being surrounded by friends and finding solace in each other made the sunset of their lives happier than either of them had expected it to be. Oh, 7 Lorenzo. Sick of everyone's assumptions, Edward decided to finally give sailing business a whirl. He returned to shore an hour after leaving, stuck with a dire case of seasickness. It was fine by him. This place is on land, at Kyra's side. The final moments of her long and arduous existence, Apate thought on the actions of those she had come to call friends. She passed on, no longer bogged down by regret, certain of the world's bright future. And of course, the Lebians. Damn, Hestia's a trans woman engineer. Just like my wife. Speaking of my wife, I need to make dinner. It's past dinner time, so I'm gonna call it here. Bye.